Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are diving deep into a topic that's, let's be honest, wrapped up in a whole lot of mystery and some pretty wild misconceptions. Tantra. Now, you've probably heard the name, and it often brings to mind some pretty sensational stuff. But the reality? It's a really profound path of radical inner transformation. So let's start by tackling those wild ideas head on. So let's just cut right to the chase, shall we? When you hear the word Tantra, what's the deal? Is it some form of black magic or dark sorcery, like you see in the movies? Or is it something completely different, a highly sophisticated spiritual science? That's the big question we're going to unpack today. To even begin to answer that, we first have to clear away all the noise, all the misinformation that's out there. So in this first section, we're going to do just that. We're going to separate the popular myths from the actual truth you find when you go back to the source texts. Okay, now take a look at this. The contrast here is pretty stark, isn't it? On one side, you've got the common ideas. Tantra is black magic, it's about dark and antisocial rituals, pure indulgence. But then you look at what the actual texts say, and it's a completely different universe. It's described as a spiritual science for realizing who you truly are. Its foundation isn't chaos, it's ethics and discipline. And those practices that get sensationalized, they have incredibly deep symbolic meanings. And maybe the biggest myth of all, that it's about rejecting the world, is just wrong. Tantra is all about integrating your everyday life with your spiritual path. So if it's not what all the myths say it is, then what exactly is Tantra? Let's get to the real definition, this idea of it being a science of expansion. And to do that, we can go right to the word itself. The word Tantra. It actually comes from the Sanskrit root tan, which literally just means to expand. That's it. So at its very core, Tantra is a practical, hands-on science. The entire goal is to expand human consciousness, to expand our knowledge of ourselves and the universe. And hey, don't just take my word for it. This is the classical definition, straight from the Sanskrit texts. That by which knowledge is expanded is Tantra. See? No mention of spooky stuff, no mystery. Just a clear, direct statement about expanding your awareness. It's a method for personal growth. And you know, this isn't some new idea that just popped up. Not at all. As you can see here, Tantra has ancient roots. We're talking traces of it found in prehistoric seals from the Indus Valley civilization. Then it had this golden age back in India's Gupta era, where all the major philosophical ideas were really locked in. And later on, during the medieval period, you see this amazing blending of Hindi and Buddhist Tantra, which created the incredibly rich tradition we have today. All right, so now that we've got a handle on the philosophy, let's get practical. Let's talk about the how. What are the actual methods, the spiritual technologies that Tantra uses to make this expansion of consciousness happen? Let's open up the toolbox. The practice really stands on four main pillars. First up is mantra. Now, this isn't just mindless chanting. It's the science of sound energy, using specific vibrations that are designed to literally influence your brainwaves and shift your state of consciousness. Then you've got yantra. These are intricate geometric designs. You can think of them as cosmic maps or blueprints of energy that you use as a powerful focus point for meditation. Next is mudra. These are symbolic hand gestures that are believed to channel and direct the flow of prana, or the body's vital life force. And finally, there's the mandala, which is this incredibly complex symbolic picture of the entire universe, used to help you reach a deep state of concentration. Now, all of these tools are really designed to work with a kind of internal map of the human body. Tantra sees our body as a mini universe, a microcosm of the whole cosmos. And within it, there's this dormant spiritual energy called Kundalini, which is said to be coiled at the base of the spine, kind of like a sleeping serpent. The goal is to awaken it so it can travel up through these energy centers called chakras. So this energy moves along a path defined by 6 main chakras, or energy hubs, that run right up the spine. And each one corresponds to a really fundamental part of being human. You start at the bottom with the Muladhara, or root chakra, which is all about basic existence and survival. And the journey goes all the way up to the Ajna chakra, the famous third eye, which is all about insight, intuition, and wisdom. Okay, let's talk about it. The most controversial, most misunderstood part of Tantra, the Panchamakara, or the 5 M's. This is where pretty much all the sensationalism comes from. On a literal level, yes, for some practitioners, it involves the ritual use of things that were considered taboo, like wine, meat, and even sexual union. But, and this is a huge but, for advanced practitioners, these are purely symbolic. Wine represents the divine bliss flowing from the top of your head. Meat symbolizes gaining control over your own tongue, your speech. Fish is about controlling your breath. And union, well, that signifies the ultimate goal of the whole practice, the merging of your inner energy, Kundalini, with pure consciousness, Shiva, at the crown of your head. It's this failure to distinguish between the literal and the deeply symbolic that causes all the confusion. Let's shift gears now and talk about the divine figures in Tantra. Because in this worldview, deities aren't just statues you pray to. They're powerful archetypes. You can think of them as living representations of cosmic forces in different states of consciousness that you can actually tap into. And right at the heart of this pantheon, you have the Dasa Mahavidya. This translates to the 10 great wisdoms. They're understood as 10 different faces or fundamental aspects of the Supreme Divine Mother, and each one represents a unique and powerful pathway to enlightenment. So let's look at probably the most famous and definitely the most misunderstood of them all, Kali. I mean, just look at her form. It's fierce. It's meant to be terrifying. She's dark-skinned, wild, wearing a necklace of skulls. But the philosophical meaning behind this is incredibly profound. She represents time itself, the ultimate force that creates and destroys everything. By meditating on her, a practitioner aims to destroy their own ego, their own illusions, and in doing so, achieve total liberation. And just to show you the amazing range of the divine feminine in Tantra, let's compare the fierce Kali with the gentle Kamala. Her form is the total opposite. She's serene, seated on a lotus, has a golden glow, and she's showering down blessings and wealth. Her meaning? She represents prosperity, creativity, and this beautiful idea that even our worldly desires for abundance and happiness can be spiritualized and used as part of the path. So what about the masculine principle? Where does Shiva fit in? Well, in Tantra, Shiva is the absolute foundation. He's not really an active doing god. Instead, he is pure, unchanging, formless consciousness. You can think of him as the silent, still movie screen. And Shakti, the divine feminine energy, is the incredible, dynamic movie that's projected onto him. Okay, so we've covered the history, the philosophy, the tools, but let's bring it all home. Why should we care about this ancient system today? What possible relevance could it have in our modern lives? Let's connect the dots and see why Tantra might matter now, more than ever. I mean, it's a totally fair question, right? In a world of artificial intelligence, nonstop digital notifications, and everything moving at lightning speed, can a spiritual path with prehistoric roots really offer us anything useful? Well, the answer seems to be a resounding yes. For starters, its meditation and breathwork techniques are incredibly powerful tools for managing the stress of modern life. Its philosophy, which celebrates the feminine energy, Shakti, as the source of all creation and power, is deeply empowering. It also offers this amazing eco-spirituality, teaching us to see the divine not in some far-off heaven, but in the material world, in nature itself. And maybe most importantly, its core message is about integration, not rejection. It doesn't tell you to run off to a cave to find peace. It teaches you how to find the sacred right here in the middle of your busy life. And really, if there's one thought to leave you with, it's this. Tantra isn't some dark, dangerous path. It's a radically life-affirming vision. It suggests that real freedom, real liberation, isn't about escaping reality. It's about completely transforming how you see it by learning to see the sacred that's already woven into the fabric of your everyday world. Just imagine for a second, what would change for you?